Hey, welcome to the last Bluejay Banter postgame show of the season. I'm Tim Greer, along with my partner, Austin Chapman.
Yes, sir.
This is going to be a combined men's and women's, unfortunately, last show of the season for both teams. Both went down tonight. Games played simultaneously, which was a little annoying to me. But anyway, Jay's men go down to 82-70. Women went down, 66-57. They just got down by 10 early on and just could never climb that hill. They got it to 4 a bunch, but could never get over that hump. But hey, welcome. We got tons of great sponsors that do this. Care Minders Home Health Care, who sponsors all season long, as well as Discount Window and Doors. And then a sponsor who's done the women's post-game that we've done for the postseason, RTI Threads. So we're going to talk a lot about them tonight. So, thanks for their great sponsorship all year. If without that, obviously, we can't do it. Well,
tough one.
Yeah, I mean, we battled. We were there. We were there, right? I just, my thought is, tell me I'm wrong. I know you will. They just shut us down in the second half, man.
They did. It was almost like St. John's-esque, right? Like, they allowed us to get comfortable in the first half, and then second half, the pressure just went up, honestly. And granted, we had some turnovers we weren't able to more or less corral. I know Ash said something at the end of the first half, but pressure just was a little bit different.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, and I think that was the note
all
to them
around.
at halftime was they said, "Hey guys, we've watched film. When they get pressure, they're a different team.
Yeah.
So let's crank it up."
Yeah.
And that's what they did.
Yep.
And who's number 0 for Auburn?
Broom?
Yeah. No, not Broom.
Pettiford. Yeah, absolutely.
Pettiford, yes.
That was my
Killed
worry.
us
That
in
was
the
my
second
worry.
half. He killed us in the second half.
And what I thought,
we could not stop him.
Not at all. And what I thought matchups were going to be, as my opinion, I thought Jemiah was more or less going to be on Pettiford because he's more of that wiry guard.
Yeah.
And generally, those are the individuals that give us fits.
Yeah.
With the big. And we kind of had Ash going at him.
And then there wasn't enough switch. Like, they didn't have to switch, right? They didn't want to switch. They didn't even screen for him. They just said, go, here we go. And he went and drained a bunch of floaters and drained a bunch of threes in that second half, and that was all she wrote.
Absolutely.
I thought we did a great job at Broom.
Absolutely.
Broom was a non-factor.
Amazing.
Non-factor.
And this guy, give credit to him. McDonald's All-American, I believe. But generally, when we play those wiry guards, they kind of give us some fits, when they're playing that two-man game too. But I just felt, their guy was better than our guy, and he was able to just kind of take it off the bounce. And tonight he proved that.
Hey, everybody watching on YouTube, thanks so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton. Hit that. Go down to the chat. Put in your questions. We've got some rolling in already that we'll get to here in a little bit, so we really appreciate it. We're right there in the first half, man. It was this. By the way, so downtown Let It Fly was absolutely jam-packed and going nuts.
It was a great crowd.
It was a great crowd in here. I wish we'd have this for every road game, right?
Absolutely.
With the exception of the girls along the railing who thought they owned the place. Who had to stick up for my buddy Rod for him. But come on.
They're just passionate fans.
They're not. Look.
But I hear you.
Austin, they're not passionate fans. They've probably seen one Creighton game all year. The one girl goes, I'm a Creighton student. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah. Who's to say she hadn't been in the student section, though, Tim? Yeah. But granted, she
hadn't been here all year. That's what I'm saying.
No.
The two ladies sitting at the table that are sticking up for them, they hadn't been here all year either. Fair. Like, what's the deal?
Yep.
Like, we're here every game. Rod and I sit in those seats. We like to watch the big screen. It's karma. We could turn around and watch the screen by the bar, sure. But this is our deal. But whatever.
Yeah.
It didn't cause you.
Yeah.
But it was funny. It was funny, and I was acting like a big shot, but I really didn't care. Frankly,
it's ruffled some feathers there. But
Rod was probably a little more ruffled, way more ruffled than me.
Yeah. He seems a bit perturbed right now.
It was hilarious. It was all
all
fun. Got some new friends tonight.
It's just
great.
nice.
It was great. There's Ryan Hibbard at halftime, by the way.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
But Houston's up.
Upset.
Houston's up at the half.
Yeah, they're featuring him.
Thank you
bit.
for a couple of late points there by both teams to hit that over for the Jays. That was nice.
Okay.
Look, this gets back to the last game. How awful the game plan Louisville had was. Like, the whole world knows Jamigo's right. Hey, guess what Auburn did? They didn't let him go right.
I wouldn't say that they...
From the get-go. They didn't let him go right. And you gotta admit this, it flustered him.
I would say it flustered him, but, like, he's also somebody, if you don't let him go right, he can go left.
He can, but
it's
he
a matter
didn't
of,
want
like, they know his tendencies.
You're right.
Right? So, like, Bruce Pearl, honestly, you got to give credit to him and their game plan and their coaching staff. But, like, when he went left, they knew he wants to pull up generally. That was kind of how I was as well. I go left. I'm going to pull up. I get to that elbow. They didn't really allow that. And they had the second man helping. And
they had everything set up on the screen. The screen was going to go right.
Yep.
The guy went at a 90-degree angle, so that screen could not happen.
Yep,
and he could not go right.
Absolutely.
And that was a great job. However, all that said, we were ahead at halftime.
Yeah. I mean,
Ash and Jackson hit some big threes.
Yes, sir. Jackson McAndrews. I think that's something that we can walk away from here proud.
And Ash had a good game because he's had some iffy games here down the stretch.
He did.
He had a great game tonight.
He did.
A couple of turnovers, but that one everybody's complaining about. He's over on the sideline. And Kalk and Jason Green both come over to the screen. I mean, you're just bringing three more guys to the ball.
Absolutely.
That as a point guard, you know that.
Yep.
Like, give me some space.
Yep. And when you're playing these guys like this, a lot of them were 6'2.5" and above, right? So playing some bigger guys as well. So, the floor doesn't look as open as maybe of what it seems. But, yeah, definitely when you're being pressured, you want to bring extra defenders to the guy who's handling the ball. But just great environment, I think just here as well. And, of course, there in Lexington. But, Auburn.
I saw the press conference with Pearl yesterday. He was adamant, a lot of Auburn fans were holding out till next weekend. Mm-hmm. And he's like, look, people, you need to come up here. Our baseball team's playing up here. You can come watch the baseball game, then go to the game. We need you here because this is a really good team.
Yeah.
And he had nothing but great things to say about Creighton. He was like, I wish I had a week to prepare for him, number one. Number two, I wish I had a week just to learn what they do offensively because it's so elite.
Absolutely, yeah. You never really know exactly what Mac's doing, right, with that playbook that he has. But no, they just did a great job, and I think size really kind of got to us, definitely in that second half. But yeah, the pressure just kind of picked up, and they just really weren't allowing too much from us at a point. And then it got to a level of, okay, we've negated the guards. Now we're going to allow Kalkbrenner to more or less do whatever he wants to do, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, he can't beat us now, because first half wasn't the greatest. So, great game plan.
It was clear the second half was to get the ball in the call, which we did.
Yeah, we did. We did.
I think we got middle of the road call tonight. Not great call, not bad call.
Right.
In the middle of the road call.
Yep. But they did a great job offensively of also being able to negate where he was in the defense, to where Broom was more or less sealing him off, allowing either the forward or the guard to now have this open lane to the baskets. Now Kalkbrenner now isn't displacing any shots there. So that was definitely part of their game plan, after a while of just watching that. It was this was clear and apparent that this was one of their focal points. So.
Okay, I'm sure you're watching these games, but let's update you. BYU 56-51 over Wisconsin. Wisconsin cut it to 3, and then there was a technical apparently.
Yep.
Houston, as I thought, is gonna grind Gonzaga down. It's 39-29 just starting the second half. Mm-hmm. So, and Fedor came in. I thought he gave us some good minutes tonight.
Yep. Some good.
I think again, but there's some, like you said, all season long, it's the way Mac plays. But again, I mean, we couldn't Kalk and Kalk got this 2 fouls in the first half, and then Fred had to come in. Fred, I felt bad for Fred because he's improved so much this year.
Yeah.
But he had 2 bad NCAA tournament games.
Yeah, he
didn't play much the first game, but he played a little more this game. But yeah, that kind of soured people. But he's got to. But again, like you said, he'll be more comfortable if he's playing a few more minutes, right?
He'd be a little more comfortable. Yeah, and definitely he was thrown in at some obscure times that just didn't have a rhythm, honestly, is what it looked like, and kind of getting a little late on, some transition and some movements there to kind of get some late fouls, and then late on some box outs and things of that nature too. And now he's fighting with extra effort, and then
and then he was throwing a bad, you gotta know who
he was kind of
running down the floor. It's not Kalk, it's Fred. Don't throw that pass.
Yeah. Yep.
There was a couple of those tonight.
That one hurt. That one definitely hurt.
Turnovers.
First half, I remember that one for sure, over the top.
Yep.
But yeah, got called for a large assignment, playing a number 1 seed.
Yeah. Let's not forget this is the number 1 seed we're playing.
Can't forget
here.
that at all.
A team who's dominated, was a clear cut number 1 overall all season
Absolutely.
long. So basically, you could say, even though there may be debates with Florida and Duke, in Houston, this was the best team in the country.
Hands down. Granted, their median age is 23 years old, but, they just kind of got some experienced players over there that are some high caliber guys, and, they got a good head coach over there, too, leading them. So, just a tough game, And I
thought coming out of the half, we would have the advantage in the locker room with Mac, but turned out he made some great adjustments.
He did. He made some great adjustments.
Hey, thanks everybody for watching on YouTube. We really appreciate it. Let's get to some of the chats. Go down to the bottom here. Put in your thoughts on the game. We got lots of them, obviously. And we'll have a post-mortem on Monday on Bluejay Banter. We'll kind of post-mortem everything. Casey said 6-minute drought in that second half, and it was basically over. And I agree,
Yep, absolutely.
And again, we talked about that. They just shut us down in the second half.
Yep.
Casey also said, Jemiah really grew this year. Great athlete. Seeing his UConn dunk live in New York was a cherry on top for me. I guess now that the season's over, we're like, yeah, it was
look
cool.
Back. Well, yeah, and I just think fans forget where we were January, December, right? November, that it was. Yeah. We didn't have these expectations. I can't say we had these at all, right? I think we honestly...
Who would have thought we'd have played the number 1
better.
overall seed to a real battle with, we played tough for 34 minutes.
Absolutely.
Right down to the end.
But who would have thought we'd have been second in the Big East, right? So it's I think we marked this one up as a win.
Look at Marquette. Couldn't you beat a weak New Mexico
Look at
team?
all of us, really, St. John's, right? We could say,
did we pegged that Xavier? We thought Xavier, but we pegged them right all season, saying they couldn't play defense, and Illinois did whatever they wanted all night long.
Yep.
Caden says this was a crazy game, close, almost a game. Can't be that upset. Sucks that Mac will develop. I don't get that, but whatever. Yeah, and we'll talk more about roster construction here. Tonight's not the night for that. We'll talk more about that down the road.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, real impressive. We hung with them, and Pearl said yesterday, he goes, "This is a really good team we're playing, man." He goes, "I don't understand." He goes, "St. John's a 2 seed. They were second in the conference, second in the Big East tournament," and he goes, "They're 9." He goes, "I don't get this."
Right.
Let's not be snowballed by this, but yeah, I don't know. The women, like I said, the women got down. We're trying to watch both games at the same time. The women got down 10, got back late in the third quarter. Definitely fourth quarter had several opportunities to cut into that lead. They were down 4. One time went in and missed a pretty inside shot in the lane that could have cut it to 2. They could just never get over that hump, and it was 20-10 out at the get-go. They just could never get over it. But again, what a fantastic season.
Oh, yeah.
The last 6 games, 4 of them were 3 to UConn and 1 to UCLA. That's about as good as it get. here's a good thing for people that don't know. I think we've mentioned this before, but the women have a bunch of 5-stars coming in next year.
Absolutely.
So this is they're reloading next year.
Reloading is the understatement.
Yeah. So this could be a really fun team to watch here in years to come. And speaking of the women, so as you know, we've done the post-game show just for the women's postseason tournament, and RTI Threads, huge sponsor. Want to thank them a ton. And if you go over there right now, the women's discount is pop, but the men's is still there from the last game. Yep. You get 14% off everything, plus they have some cool caps. The coolest thing they have here, though, if you remember the throwback jerseys with the Creighton Blue Jays, the white ones we wore,
yep,
they have a replica warm-up jersey that the team was wearing that has that on it with the player's number on the back. It's really, really, really cool. Nice. So you want to go check it out. You get 14% off if you go right now. Go over to RTI Threads and check all of it out. And meanwhile, let's talk about our title sponsor all season long. That's CareMinders Home Health Care. Jim and his team do a fantastic job over there. Jim's a huge Jays backer, and it's home health care for your injured, ill, or senior loved one. It's probably something you don't think about. So, when I've talked to Jim about it, he said, people don't reach out to us until it's too late. So, yes, we can still help them, but they don't know what we really offer. So go to caremindersnebraska.com if you've got an injured, ill, or senior loved one. A lot of us have parents, grandparents that we need to take care of. And go there and check it all out, everything they have to offer. And then when the time comes, you can just call CareMinders at 402-532-1383. That's 402-532-1383. And they are fantastic with their service and will take care of all of your needs. We want to thank them so much. Holy cow. All right. The chat is blowing up, AC.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go. We have Peter. Auburn really hit some tough mid-range shots. They did?
They did. Pettiford just kind of...
Yeah.
He killed us, and long story short,
And that's the analytics
a shot
Mac takes.
Exactly. And that's a shot generally you want to give individuals, but when you're playing some high caliber guys, those are generally the shots that they want anyways. And he showed us all a little bit of everything from the mid-range jump shot to the mid-range floater to some tough lays off the glass. But that's just, you win and lose by really playing the analytics at this day and age.
Martin, our good friend, who is a longtime supporter of Bluejay Banter, everything we do, thanks, Martin, says, I just wish we could have given Kalk a better exit.
Better
and
goodbye.
Don't we all?
We all do. But he played a number 1 seed, right, to go out, at the end of that. So it's not something of, we lost to somebody maybe we shouldn't have lost to. But granted, I think all season we could say we've lost to teams that maybe we didn't feel we should have lost to. We more or less beat ourselves. So, of course, he's probably walking away from this one thinking, I probably could have added a little more to it and maybe a little regretful. But historical career, from the big fella.
Kalk kind of takes the attitude of Mac, though. So I think he's walking away going, I could have done more. But, you know what?
Did all I could. That.
It is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But we were talking tonight too when I wasn't fighting with the Creighton Coeds, standing on the rail. We said that, hey, I think most of us, and maybe I'm over exaggerating this, but I think most of us will look back like a year from now and go, we will miss Kalk more than we
give
appreciated him when he was here.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like
we'll be like,
right?
Wait a minute. Last year those guys wouldn't dribble in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's definitely when he's gone, we're definitely gonna miss his presence. And it's like anything, right? You just kind of you get content and you get complacent with things, and it's just too of like the stature of who he was and the numbers that he was putting up were so historic that we were just kind of seeing him at this eye level of things of like him not being the gaudy player who's out here, saying me, and screaming the name on the back.
That's a great point. Great point.
Generally, it's like we've just kind of taken who he is for granted in a lot of ways, which is real similar to Doug. You know, there was a lot of things that he was able to accomplish that he didn't really care about, you know, at the end of the day. And it was like, yeah, you're putting your name in these history books, but at the end of the day, you know, this is one of those generational type players that we're definitely going to miss.
Yeah, no kidding.
And
his
we're
number will be up in the rafters.
We're definitely starting to already see the effect of, okay, well, next year we're going to miss this guy.
Caden came back and said, yeah, Mac will develop for next year. I'm excited for McAndrews' leap forward. I am too. Get a little bit lower body
not just
strength,
him, man, but yeah, definitely what he's bringing to the table. I've said this time and time again. This is real similar to Doug's freshman year, you know, CBI type things, where at the end of the year you kind of saw who he was going to be, and he's not afraid of the moment.
No,
you know, he's got that confidence.
No.
He's got the work ethic. He loves the game. You know, his upside is just, you know, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, the coaches fully expect him, the assistants fully expect him to be a two-time All-Big East player.
Absolutely. And then we got, you know, Fedora, and then we got Pop. And
let's hope these guys all come back.
Right. And so...
that's a great core to build on.
I think we got some great pieces.
He's throwing Fred, you know.
Throwing Fred. I think we just got Alexa to commit. We got Alexa to commit. Right?
Jason.
Can we say
Trout?
this? Can we say this yet?
What's that?
Alexa. He's committed. He's gave his verbal for sure.
He did.
Montenegro.
Did I miss this?
This was last week.
No, I didn't see.
You might have missed it then. Yeah, he committed last week. Or right at the top of right when we finished Big East. Yes, sir. Yeah, no, you heard it. Well, maybe you heard it here first, but yeah, it's out there.
I think
it's out there.
It's out there.
It's out there, Tim.
Because Jason, Joe.
Just say I got some good sources.
Of Tipton Edits.
I might have some good sources.
He put that he's putting his
agent. I won't say it too much more. We're All
right, well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great because. Yep. Ryan was one of his big recruiters, and I was worried about that with Ryan Lehman, but DK was involved as well, so that's awesome.
It's like
here's a great question. Here's a great question for us. And we've kind of touched on this throughout the season, but this is the end of the year, so now we can really dig into it.
All right.
BJ said, hypothetically, how do you think the season would have gone if Pop stayed healthy?
Yep. I think it's hard to play these hypotheticals, but I per se don't think we would have been as good. And that's just me.
That's nothing against Pop.
Nothing against Pop at all. No. Nothing. Great player. Great scorer.
This freed up Jemiah.
It freed up Jemiah. It freed up everybody else, right? I think it also gave Ashworth greater confidence too, knowing that he has to be the guy to more or less make big shots. Especially after that Purdue, debut, that it was like now other guys are seeing, okay.
I mean, Pop went 5 for 5, and it was
now I have to step into, these roles as well that are a little, are open now. So I can't say that it would have drastically changed who we are or what we do. I just don't think we would have been as good because we've said it time and time again that this is really one of the best teams that we've seen as a cohesive unit. From Sammy all the way, to Kalkbrenner, that they're all the way bought in. And I just don't know if that would have been the same.
I think, though, we're being I am, personally, and you are a little bit too, we're being a little bit unfair, Paul, because we would have had more depth. That was a big thing. Ashworth wouldn't have had to play 40 minutes.
We had a lot more depth, and
like
we
tonight,
probably would have had.
You could tell there was times tonight where he got a little gassed, right?
That, and then just the consistency aspect, right? Like you could say that Jemiah did at times play as one of the best guards in the Big East, but there was times where he was wavering.
Who knows?
And a little
after the Kansas game, they could have melded together, and Jemiah could have found his footing still.
Right.
And now we've really got it going on, right?
Yeah.
So
I think
it's hard. It's really hard to say. Really hard to say.
Tough question.
Martin came back and said, "Hey, we had to be nearly perfect." I agree with that tonight. We were for a half, but they clamped down on us the second half.
Absolutely.
Kudos to them.
Absolutely.
Andrew said, they're more like 4 stars, but they're top 100. I don't know who he's talking about there.
I think he's talking about the women's.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, maybe. But
top 100, 4 stars.
Carly Tritz told me they were. She told me they were 5 stars.
At that point, it doesn't matter. That's generally politics.
But it's a big upgrade. It's a big upgrade,
Absolutely.
and that's no disrespect to the wonderful players we've had over the last 3 years that have done so much for our program in the women's. But these are highly recruited out of high school.
Absolutely.
And, Flan had to really find these
highly rated
diamonds in the rough type thing.
Granted, he's got a great staff, too, now that's probably able to, go ahead and
very much so.
Get some of these individuals. But
so,
just turn of a tide for
Andrew also said, I assume, okay, so this is where I lose a little bit of, I don't know. I don't want to say disrespect, but anyway. When he says that, then he comes back with, I assume Larry Johnson is gone.
Well, if you look at the roster, technically they have him on.
Do they really still have him on
the NCAA roster?
He's not the Creighton.
No.
He's not the Creighton.
No, but if you go on, I think what the actual roster is now.
He's way long gone. That was 1, 2, 3. That was 4 months ago. He is gone.
Few individuals.
He's gone. We were actually talking about him tonight as the game wound down. We're like, God, I wonder where he's going to go. I go, do you think Murray State?
Who knows?
Because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to look at him with a red flag now, and maybe he could go to Murray State. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, but this is just that time, right? Like things don't work out, and maybe somebody pulls the trigger a little earlier than they should, and who knows? This portal is changed the game.
BJ says, we need more athletes now that our anchor's gone. Yeah. We can't get away with lesser athletes anymore.
No.
I don't know that we've had. See, I think there's a problem here with and not any disrespect to you, BJs. I'm not talking about you, but generally in the college basketball realm, okay? There's really good basketball players, and then sometimes people just look at athletes. Well, sometimes those athletes aren't really good basketball players.
There's a lot
to that. You know what I mean?
No, there's a lot to that, and especially if you're coming to, play for MAC, right?
Yeah.
To your point, you can't just be a great athlete. Can't just be a great basketball player. You kind of have to be able to mesh too. And a lot of it is just being more cerebral, right? Like MAC demands a lot when it comes to understanding the game, knowing rotations, knowing the defensive schemes, knowing his playbook that he has, which is well over 150 plus plays. There's more to it than just being a great athlete, at the end of the day.
Great point.
That, I was in the era where I transitioned from Missouri Valley to Big East, and I always felt when I was there, I was playing with Missouri Valley and the Big East, right? And so, we do maybe need to get some of these better athletes.
So when you transitioned, was it when you went to the Big East, or was it just
for me, but maybe some of my teammates?
Okay.
That's probably a lot that's kind of used to what I'm playing growing up. So it wasn't anything, of shock to me. But yes, definitely playing with some individuals.
Definitely you're after, Doug, because a lot of those guys were quote unquote role players, and then they had to go out, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa.
Right. And some of that kind of transitioned into them just kind of have to take a larger role. But,
right.
Some of that is just kind of our makeup, right? Who we are, our culture, what we've kind of had over, the past decades that, that just comes with time, right?
Yeah.
And I think now MAC is starting to get some of these higher level, higher caliber athletes too, all the way from, you can start with Marcus Foster, and then then it's been ticking, right? Yeah, to getting some of these high level elite athletes now that aren't wing players generally. That is kind of where we're at, to make sure too that we can kind of go ahead and negate to what these other teams have in some of these other conferences. But
that's the beauty of MAC.
We just didn't shoot the ball that great in the second half, and to your point, they kind of put the clamps on. But had we shot it 2 days ago, I don't think we're having this conversation, to be honest.
The beauty of MAC is all that's true. He's grown with the athletes. Then he went with a guy like Ryan Hawkins, who was just a basketball player, man.
Basketball player, but he also just got it done, man. His heart. I mean, his heart was over everything.
Mac melds it together.
But it's hard to find players like him.
But we've got it, but again, here's the problem too. Now there's been, and it's not just Creighton, it's every school. Look at Rick Pitino. Just because I ain't going to recruit. Are you kidding me? I'm just going to the portal. I ain't going to recruit ever.
But
he doesn't want to deal with that.
I don't see that. That's not a Creighton model, though.
Well, that's not a long-term.
It's just not sustainable.
Maybe with Rick Pitino it is, but if you once he leaves, it's not a long-term answer for St. John's.
Not at all.
I get that. But we still got to go out and get these guys. I think now, actually, it might be just a slight bit easier to get these guys because there's not 80 schools after. You know what I mean?
What do you mean? In portal?
No. Recruits. Like now some schools are like, yeah, he's good, but I need somebody today, so I'm just going to go to the portal, and then they lose out on this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like, Mac likes to develop guys, too, though. And that's just, like, that's who he is.
I'm telling you, Hudson's a stud.
That's what Creighton is.
You can talk all you want about him, but he's a stud, first of all, 46th in the country, and he's played for Mount Verde. Enough said.
No, I hear that. High school's high school, though, and I won't ever try to compare the two.
That's a big time.
No, that's still high school, though.
That's a big time. We're talking Cunningham, who Nemhard backed up. We're talking, on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
So that's big time.
I hear that.
Before we get to more chats, let's just talk about Discount Window and Doors of Omaha. Great sponsor. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. They do a fabulous job from start to finish. They come to your house. When you want windows, you call them up. First of all, you'll be blown away by the prices they offer you. You will, trust me, you'll be blown away. So when you need windows in spring, go to them. You'll be blown away with not only windows, but doors as well. And then the whole process, they come to your house, they lay everything out. They say, here's what we have to offer. Our products are as good as anybody in the world. And you see what they have to offer. They get you any color you want. And then they go through the installation. They measure once. The installers come out again and measure again just to make sure everything's perfect. The installers come out, and it was an unbelievable process. I thought, oh, my God, this is going to take all day. And no, they were in and out of there in like 4 hours. Boom. And you can see the windows before and after there. And then none of that, they follow up with you to make sure everything's okay. John, the head of Windows and Doors here in Omaha, came out and said, hey, I need to do a little touch-up here and there. Went the extra mile to make sure it was all perfect. So you will be thrilled. Not only me, but my next-door neighbor had Discount Window and Doors putting windows in their house, and they love them to death. So check them out. That's Discount Window and Door of Omaha. Give a call, 402-884-8989. That's 402-884-8989. And tell them that Bluejay Banter sent you. Oh, wow. We got to get through a lot of chats here. Let's move. They're... and 4. Oh, he's been great in chat all year. We were beaten by a better basketball team. More complete team, I would say. I would say more complete team. Yes.
I won't say better.
Very good team. I mean, they were number one all from start to finish all year. So let's not forget that their players are like I said, median age is 23 years old. So let's not forget this, man. Great point. He said to beat Creighton, you have to hit that mid range, and they did.
Yeah, and they did. They did that at a high level.
We saw St. John's today, right?
Yeah.
Could throw it in the ocean. Now we said that game was coming at some point.
They had their player of the year on the bench in crunch time.
What was that all about?
Well, if you really watched the game, and granted, of course, I probably know more of the in and outs, but Lewis had missed 3 to 4 different box outs. And not even that. He just would stand in the lane and just was looking at the ball.
So unlike him for him.
And they got offensive rebounds. And it just looked like he just wasn't there, honestly. And I don't, because
I was in the car at the time listening to the end of the game.
It was. I
was wondering. My wife said, "No, they took Lewis out of the game," and I was like, "What?"
Like they had got into it. Patino and Lewis had gotten into it a couple of times because he was just riding them, and
maybe
rightfully so. He was making a point.
But still, we talked about the fact they have to hit shots. And when they got a big athletic team against them, like Arkansas.
Had to.
Hey, Arkansas was going to back down. All of a sudden, St. John's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh,
I don't think they've seen that
either.
No, they haven't. They haven't. Or
there wasn't a team like Arkansas in the Big East.
Scared of that pressure.
Had Georgetown had a couple more athletes, they may would have seen it from Georgetown.
Fair.
You know, with PV and everything.
Yep.
And then Peter chimes in about St. John's. St. John's could have used a couple of basketball players today.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Not athletes. Yep. Great.
Kadari's hands on defense. And again, I'll say this, and I hope Mac and everybody else in the Big East kind of jumps on board here. Calipari started this 48 hours ago. He said, man, I watched their game against Omaha. They grabbed, held, fouled every time down the floor.
Yeah.
He started that narrative. Boom, ba-boom, 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 ba-boom.
I mean, I hear that.
He got in the ref's ears right from the get-go on it. And I thought today they called a lot of those things St. John's has been getting away with. I'm just saying.
There was
great defensive team, but I'm just saying.
There was times where Kadari generally is like that third, fourth rotational guy to where he had to foul. And that's the last person you really want to foul. Honestly, but he was kind of just put in a position of get this guy easy bucket, or do I have to actually go ahead and, make presence known? So I don't know. Granted, they're very handsy, but everybody knows that. And it wasn't that he was really going to change the course of, the refs' calls.
Peter says, what was the worst call today? It was Kadari Richmond's fifth foul. I was, as I said, I was in the car at the time listening to Casey Jacobson and somebody else on the radio. And they were like, it was Jordan Cornette. And he was like, yeah, that was pretty iffy for a fifth foul.
Yeah.
BJ said, how good is Hudson Greer? We've already talked about how good Hudson Greer is. He's 6+. He's going to play a 2 or a 3, and he's 6'7".
Yeah,
he's not a small guy.
Yeah, he's a big body.
So, and he can really fill it up.
He can move.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Ford said, I admit that at one point this season, I didn't think we'd play any postseason tournament. Mac and the 3 senior stars had other ideas. Kudos to them for giving us a great ride.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
You have to. That's the best note ever.
That's tonight, right? I mean,
has to be.
Again, if Mac would have won this game, just build the biggest damn statue you can find out in front of him.
He can retire.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we all
it's
would have
the
been
greatest
fine with him
coaching
retiring.
job of all time. I already think it's his best coaching job. He says it's his most rewarding season ever.
Yeah.
So that says a lot.
Yeah.
Because he brought up in the press conferences at Lexington, he said, "Look, we were 7-5. People were ready to bury us.
Right. And then think they get 25 wins.
Yeah, I know it.
That's an accomplishment that he's. Yeah, I know he's proud of himself.
Here's Blake with a great question. Blake says, chances of us landing Josh Dix from Iowa. Heard we were heavily involved. Also names to replace Miller. Okay, so let's start with the Josh Dix.
I'm not going to tamper here, but I might know the young fellow a little bit.
I know you do.
Yeah, I will. But that would be a great get. Yeah, that'd be a great get. I haven't even thought of that one.
We did that under the table.
Yeah, that's a great get.
But actually,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I've heard through several sources. I get good sources, several of them on the recruiting trail. He wants to come to Creighton so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. He wants to come to Creighton.
He works out. We work out here in Omaha.
Yeah, well.
In the summers. Yeah.
I would bet he's going to.
I would love that.
Here's the deal. I would bet he's in Omaha on Tuesday.
I bet he's here already. I bet he's here working out with my guy already. Yeah.
So, and here's the thing over on BlueJayBanter.com, by the way. If you're not going to come on, get on board. Get over there and sign up.
Yep.
It's the best message board around. Guys are already in the message board. One guy goes, well, I don't like that because then we have Fedor and Josh Dix and all these. And one guy goes, dude, we need to have players.
As many as we can
And
have.
as Murph always tells me, he goes, we need guards. We need tons of guards. I don't care how many guards. We need tons of guys that can play the 2 and the 3.
We've been needing guards ever since I got here.
Yes,
it's always
absolutely.
been this thing of
there's always an injury. There's always something that goes on.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Bring them on and let the best player play.
Yeah, and that night, right?
Yes. Doesn't
one night it might be Fedor, one night it might be. It doesn't matter. And just that's kind of what we did when our 3 and 4 this year. Right?
To be fair, though, Mac likes to go with.
He does,
5
but
guys.
This year was way different.
First.
Mason, Jason,
yeah,
Jackson,
yeah.
Trout. Like this year, it was like trying to figure out who's going to be that
Especially
guy.
once Pop went down.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. So, I'm all for that one.
We're all in on that.
Yeah,
we're all in on that deal.
Yeah.
And they've always told me from day one they're looking at a big for Portal, a 5.
Yeah.
So, if the European guy, maybe he can play stretch 4. But we're already jammed up there. I get it. But, again, can't have enough players, right?
No, you can't.
And now the scholarship thing goes bonkers next year, right?
Yep.
We can go crazy.
Got revenue share.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different.
Then Blake also says, any names to replace Coach Miller? Haven't heard any. I don't think Mac's really gotten into that yet. You?
Nah.
Oh, well, you were raising your hand.
Yeah, I'm available, though, I guess. You are.
I think there's several out there. I will just
Young, baby.
What's that?
Antoine Young. He's up there with Husk right now. I can see that happening.
No.
Hey, it's a Creighton guy.
Yeah,
we don't. What do you mean? You don't like that one?
No.
Okay. No. All right.
Off air.
All right. Sorry.
I'll say this. Mitch wants to coach high school. Okay?
Valak?
Yeah. He wants to coach high school. That's what he wants to do.
What?
His wife's a doctor. She's in residency now. So hold on. Let me finish. Okay. That said, Mac gives him a ton of responsibilities.
Yeah.
Like, Mac, if you go to practice, Mitch runs all the out-of-bounds plays, offense and defense. Like, make sure
that's because he's not too far to replace. So, like, he knows that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. He runs all this stuff. I think if Mitch would say yes, he would be a great addition to the staff.
Absolutely.
Now, recruiting, right? You got it. Can he recruit? He hasn't done that really, I
think Jahans is kind of.
Jen's only been there 1 year. I would love him to be involved too.
I think a lot of recruiting though. Jans is a salesman at the end of the day.
Yes.
I know for a fact he would be able to
Let me tell you, Tim, I think this guy is the best player. I can hear him already.
That list going. Yeah, he's a salesman, man. And I know players too, they buy him.
Mitch would be too, though.
I hear that.
I've talked to Mitch about some of the recruits because thinking, sometimes
I feel like Mitch, though, is
like in the back of the day with Huss and Lutzer, I used to get all kinds of information. Now it's shut down. So then I kind of went with Mitch a little bit. And Mitch is he's really good with it, but he gives you a little bit. So, he's involved in it a little bit. So, I would love to see it. I would love, everybody would love to see it. My wife would love to see it. Mitch is her favorite. But anyway, we'll see what Mitch wants to do. But maybe there's somebody, a superstar out there that has connections.
High school?
That's what he's always told me. Now, maybe it's
Nobody's
changed.
got more connections than somebody sitting in front of you, Tim. But
that's what he's always told me.
I got it on the career path.
He's always told me he wants to coach high school.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, good for him, though.
And maybe that was, that's been, I haven't talked to him in depth about it in 6 months. Yeah. So maybe this season changed things. You never know.
Maybe that's changed a little bit. Yep.
Right?
No.
Let's update you on the scores real quick. BYU, man, sleeping on them all year. Yeah. 86-76 up on Wisconsin.
Yes, sir.
Every time I believe in them, then they let me down. Yeah. But anyway, not surprising here. The score: Houston 70, Gonzaga 60. Houston's just going to grind them down.
Absolutely.
Nemhart's trying his damnedest, but they've got some dogs, man.
Yeah.
Not over yet though. Still 7 minutes to go.
Auburn Houston is a game I want to see.
I would think Auburn and Houston. Yeah,
that's a game I would love to see.
They're on the opposite sides though.
I know. That's gonna be. I don't want to call it.
I've got some pools where I have Alabama going all the way. Got Houston going all the way. I've got a lot like Houston Duke. I call me a skeptic now after 3 games, but I don't think Duke's played anybody in 4 months here. You know what I mean? I know they're good.
It's hard to bet against Cooper, though.
I know, but they haven't played anybody good in 4 months.
Shoulders above.
You look at Louisville and Clemson, they're not that good.
I know. And I hear what you're saying.
They played in a bad league.
That's almost like betting against LeBron James, right?
And they've got Alabama in their region.
I hear you.
And then they're going to match up with probably either Tennessee or Houston.
This guy's different, though, Tim.
I know.
This guy's he's different, Tim. I don't know. He's special.
All right, Unsung here tonight.
I'm going Fedor. Granted, he was right at 10. We can't really call. Jason Green, like we said last show, we're expecting a lot more from him now. He's kind of proved what he can do, shown us what he can do. Used all his fouls tonight, but Fedora,
that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, Fedora, though. 10, 1 turnover, 1 steal, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, 4 of 6 free from the line, 2 of 2 from three-point line. And just kind of where, got injured, Big East tournament, was hitting a peak at he was headed towards something that I thought was probably going to take us very far in the tournament, and then still to be able to come and provide, the input and the output that he was able to, provide. I think. Yeah. I'm just kind of looking forward to
Here's an interesting hypothetical again.
It's still here.
Hypothetical again. Wouldn't it be nice, kind of not hypothetical, but kind of, wouldn't it be nice if, let's say we'd had Fedor from the get-go, okay? And let's say now it was like a month. If we could rewind time and go back a month right now. So now it's like we haven't hit that stretch with Marquette, UConn, and St. John's yet.
Oh.
And had Fedor playing the way he is now, had Jason Green playing the way he is now.
Yeah.
How different do you think the season would have been?
No, we're number 1.
Yeah. I don't know if we'd have had enough because St. John's had a couple game lead.
No, we do.
No, but
do.
St. John's had a couple game lead at that point. I don't know if just the whole logistics would have worked out.
We got it at home, so I think they would have just had enough confidence, especially with those guys playing at that level.
I don't think we'd have lost to UConn.
That we would have beaten.
We wouldn't have lost to UConn. We wouldn't have lost to UConn.
Wouldn't have lo't have lost to UConn.
St. John's, I think we could have gotten one of those from them.
I don't think we lost on the road there.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's a different scout. When you have to add him to the
And then now you're a 7 instead of a 9, and now you play. Pick a team. I mean, Michigan State would be easier to play than Auburn, in my opinion.
I hear you, but you got to play number 1 eventually.
I know.
That's always been my thing. So it's like, for us,
but I'd
rather be underseeded and play those guys earlier and be upset.
Yeah, because you win tonight. Now all of a sudden, man, it all opens up. Now you got Michigan ahead of you, number 5 seed, right?
You're cruising then.
No, wait. Am I in the right region?
Michigan State.
Yeah, we'd have had Michigan State. No, we'd have had Michigan. And then maybe Michigan State. But if Iowa State beats them, we would be totally comfortable with Iowa State. We scrimmage them all the time.
Right.
Well, we'd be cool, yeah. Peter says, what is the story on the Big East ACC merger? Hurley brought it up at presser. I did not hear that.
I hope that doesn't happen, is my opinion.
I don't know how that logistically would work. You know what I mean?
I just hope that doesn't happen.
If you want to get together and go, hey, let's do like we did the challenge thing with the ACC. Let's do that. And then let's say every year, besides the challenge, you have to play a game on the road at an ACC team. The next year they come to you.
That or like
that,
a 2-game challenge.
I would be all for that.
I'd be for like a 2-game challenge. So like at the beginning and then maybe one at the end somehow.
Yeah, but they don't like to do that mid-season.
Not anymore.
It just doesn't work out. The Big
if 12 they would bring back like the old school bracket buster.
The Big 12 hated that SEC.
The bracket buster type thing. Yeah, I like that though.
Yeah, they don't like that. Anyway,
women like it. They have to play it.
But anyway, if you did something like that. But I don't know how you would logistically do a 20, what would it be? A 2017
Yeah, no, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
How would you manage that?
I don't like that at all.
How would your postseason tournament work?
You're just talking about like travel.
You play for 2 weeks. Yeah. You'd have to go out and play Cal and Stanford? Come on.
Think about like Nebraska's travel.
And then we'd have to go down to Florida State? I mean, that's crazy.
I don't like that at all.
I just don't think logistically.
The Big East was a little bit different when you're going
The reason we don't have Gonzaga is because there was going to be too much travel involved.
Exactly.
That's the only reason.
Exactly.
They weren't worried about basketball. They were worried about the Olympic sports.
We were technically as far west as they wanted to go.
Yeah.
And then it was, because that That was some of our.
And there's still ruffled feathers over that with some big Eastern schools. Like, we got to go way out there. Yeah. Well, God, it's not that far.
Granted, it's not that far. But,
I just think I don't think this will hold any water. I think the ACC's grasping at straws right now.
I think we got to do away with conferences, Tim. To be honest, that's
if we're going to do this, we might as well just do away with the conferences.
Yeah, and
just forget
tear them off. Really, at a way that
it was all 10 years ago. It was all nicely regionally based.
Yeah, right.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
That's the way it should be.
This is just ridiculous now, right? If you want to play Oregon and UCLA, then just schedule non-conference games with them, home and homes. Like, I don't get it. It's just, but we're
because then if we do that,
then ship has sailed though.
We have no non-conference then, right? You can't have a non-conference really then. No. Like you have to play D2s.
If you had a deal with like I suggest with the ACC, you have 2 games, and then you do an MTE, and all of a sudden you're like, you got a couple bye games, and you're done.
Yeah, right.
And again, what are teams trying to do here? Are they trying to get into the NCAA tournament? If that's the case, the committee this year just didn't really care about your non-conference all that much. So,
not at all.
Where are we at? This whole thing is just a mess right now.
Absolutely,
it needs to be straightened out.
Absolutely.
BYU's down to a 6-point lead.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, it's 90-83. Boom.
Houston, man.
Another win for me on that over.
I like it.
Any chance we get back, I think he means involved, Zemo, who decommitted from Indiana? I got to be honest, I don't know this guy. And I know you're saying, well, Timmy, you have a Rivals Network. Recruits nowadays, it's not that big of a deal anymore. Like, you don't ever hear.
I can't remember this.
Like it used to be just constant stuff with the coaches. They would get one recruit like Hudson, and then they're like, yeah, we're going to the portal. Right. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And they would prefer to have a junior portal guy, so that has 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But I'll look them up. Blake, go to bluejaybanter.com. I'll look them up and I'll get you the answer. I don't have time right now.
I doubt it. I mean, who wouldn't want to play for D-Rock, though, anyways, is my thing.
Yeah.
It's a great dude to play for. I
wonder how that's all going to work.
Yeah.
But D-Rock said himself in the presser that, hey, look, it's Portal City this year. And then after that, then I'm going to recruit.
And you got Tuck. Come on, man. You got Tuck, baby. You got Tuck and Portal. That's all you need.
Oh, Tuck. I thought you meant
Big Tucker.
I thought you meant Jemiah's Tuck.
No, not Tuck. Not that Tuck. But he might be able to help you with the portal.
Yeah. Oh, I got him on speed dial. Trust me.
Yeah. I'm sure he knows him.
Yeah. I mean, it still remains. I didn't watch enough of him at West Virginia. I mean, I watched a few games.
Yeah.
But it still remains. Can he guard that 3 and 4 athletic guy?
I'm not worried about that, man. That was Doug's largest question. It was. That was his largest question. Can he guard the 3, 4, sometimes 5? Generally, he wasn't going to be able to guard the 3. Probably couldn't guard the 5. Then the 4 was iffy, but then the way we were playing team defense didn't really matter. And
Austin.
Doesn't matter.
Austin defense was not. That wasn't Doug's deal.
It wasn't, but he gave effort. Tucker gives effort.
I swear to God, Mac told him, look, Doug, we need you to play as many minutes as I need you. You cannot ever foul out.
I wouldn't say it was that. Doug might have been playing the hardest on defense than anybody.
I'm joking.
One, because he had to, but my guy, just had a little.
But you know what I mean. But hey, and I'm not saying that was a horrible strategy. He's absolutely right. You can't have Doug foul out. There's no way.
You can't. But same way. It goes same way, right? It has to. He's proven himself. People are giving him a lot of flack.
Enforce says an 11 seed is better than an 8. Oh, I see what he's saying. We're a 9 seed. It would have been better to be an 11.
I hear that.
But 11, you know what?
You're North
Carolina,
playing this BYU
team.
You're VCU.
You're playing this. You're playing
the Ole Miss.
If you're an 11, you're playing this BYU team.
Are you playing Ole Miss? Are you playing BYU?
That's no picnic.
Right. No. Yeah. It's not a walk in the park.
Illinois.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'd much rather go the route we did and play Louisville. Because guess what? We got.
Are your Drake?
We get 2 shares of that NCAA tournament money that goes into the Big East pot. We had 5 teams in.
Right.
They're all gone now, right? Well, we got UConn tomorrow.
So we just got the
UConn tomorrow, and then
the defending champs who said it feels normal.
Right? They're all gone.
Yeah.
All gone.
Everybody.
All gone.
All gone. That fast.
Oh, yeah. Here, that narrative will come out if we don't make this. Oh, look at the Big East.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
I think I don't know. That's
all right. There was no. I like the bad call on Richmond, Kadari Richmond's fifth foul. That's the bad call. This is fine job by the refs tonight, actually.
Yep.
I
thought it was decent.
Yeah. One recap. Under 4 to go. Houston 76, Gonzaga 65. Nembhard playing remarkably good defense. And
got the Omaha boy trying to get it done, baby. He's got 36 tonight. I love this.
Look at Tunji. Look at Tunji.
Yeah.
At the line could cut this to a 2-point game.
That's big for Omaha.
This is amazing.
Yeah. There he is.
And Caleb's over there like, can we go home?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Look, women had an unbelievable. In some respects, this is like last year's men team when we lost some really key people, for the women. But again, they're reloading next year, man. They're reloading. It's going to be awesome. And we'll get Flan on here in the next couple of weeks on Bluejay Banter and have them talk about the season. Men, we lose 3 great seniors. One guy was only here 1 year. One guy was only here 2 years. One guy was here like 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Grand Gibbs.
Who was like the second all-time leading scorer in Creighton history. One of the greatest defensive players in Big East history. You have to say it.
One of the greatest bigs, I would just say, in college history. You have to say at this point.
Did you see the chart they put up today? Like the only guy that did so many points, so many blocks, so many rebounds. Oh my God!
Shout out to Rob Anderson.
It was Duncan. No, this was. Well, he probably gave it to him. Yeah. But it was Duncan. I mean Ewing. I mean, you talk about the greats of the game.
Yep.
It was unbelievable. And it's not like he played. It's not like he played in the Missouri Valley against 6'4" guys. Okay,
he was
played in the Big East.
Yeah, he was playing talent. Night in, night out.
Yeah. We're going to miss Kalk, and we're going to realize next year.
Underappreciated.
I'm going to put the under over on next year. First couple games, they'll be like, well, we're not. They're going right at us. They're scoring that well. Don't have 11 in there. That's what's going to happen. We got to get to this one. What is more important this summer, retaining current players or getting new players? Ooh, great question.
I'm going to say retaining.
We got to retain Fedor. If we can retain Fedor, Pop,
Trout. I think we got to retain Trout as well.
I don't think Trout's a worry.
I think so.
I don't think Jason Green's a worry.
I think he is.
Jason Green?
No, Trout. Jason Green. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Trout. Though. Trout. Okay. I worry about Trout because his.
How about? I don't worry about Jackson.
Nope.
I don't worry about Ty. I don't worry about Ty. No, I think Ty's.
I would say he's probably solid.
Yeah, because Ty knew what this year was going to be.
Right.
So if you can retain Pop, Fedor, Trout, if you can retain 2 of those 3, would that be fair? 2 of those 3?
I think we have to get all of them.
Well, you want all of them, but I'm just saying realistically, right?
But if you don't keep Pop, then there's definitely something that's going to come.
Then we got to go transfer.
There's definitely something out of that, though. There's definitely going to be a replacement.
Because I think Ty's going to be really good, but we need another guy, right?
Yeah.
And so I would say I would agree with Austin. That's more important.
Absolutely. Because I'm not worried about what Mac does in the portal. He's going to go find
if we get
good character guys. He's going to find the guys we need. If we get
one big in Josh Dix, we're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
Yeah, we're solid.
We're good. And we get this recruit that you say is already coming.
Fred. Yeah. Like I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
So there you go. All right. Hey, we've had a blast, man. Have we had a blast?
Oh, absolutely.
Austin's been so great. Been here every night.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been he's got kids. It's just been awesome. So I thank you so much. Caleb, thanks, buddy. Really appreciate everything you did for us.
Sir.
We're not done, though. We got Bluejay Banter on Mondays, so we will have one show tomorrow now that the women aren't playing. So we'll have a show on Monday, and we'll kind of, that'll be the show where we kind of look ahead, right?
Yeah.
We'll kind of look ahead to what holds here in the program. And then we'll be on Bluejay Banter like every other week, probably here through the next spring, maybe even sooner if the baseball team continues to play well, even though they lost today. Continues to play well, and then we get some postseason aspirations. Hey, turn on the TV quick. We got 2-point game, Wisconsin and BYU.
Yes, sir.
What a game.
Yes, sir.
I just want to thank everybody so much. Our YouTube is blowing up. Make sure and tell everybody to go on here and subscribe. If they want to watch just 1 or 2 videos, make sure they go on here and subscribe because we want to keep growing this baby, and we're getting almost to where we want to be. So we're so close. So thank you so much. Thanks to everybody here at Let It Fly. Absolutely. Outstanding job. Thanks to all the people that showed up tonight. This was a great atmosphere. I wish we could do this for more road games. Have this many people here. Just not the girls along the railing to block my view. And
great fans.
Rod, please come back. We love you.
Yeah.
But we want to thank everybody. Thank Mike, who runs this place. Really appreciate it. Tyler here and everybody here. The servers have been great all year. So anyway, you got more stuff. Remember, Mondays on Bluejay Banter all year, but remember this, for a lot of people that don't watch the Monday show but watch more of our post game than our Monday shows, Bluejay Banter Golf Tournament, July 26th. It's a Saturday. It's sold out last year. It's going to sell out this year. I will be popping that website up this week. So I will put out on Twitter on Bluejay Banter, hey, the website's live. Start signing up. Nice. And you better sign up quick because it's going to fill up this year. Post-game party right here. They already got it booked. We're all good. Got to give you, somebody gave you a thumbs up this year, Mr. Chapman.
Did they?
When we started, I would have never thought that would have happened.
I wouldn't say that. I'm surprised it just won.
I got to be honest. No. I wasn't sure.
I'm surprised it's won.
He's been awesome. He's been absolutely awesome. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus saying you're the best co-host I've ever had, but you're right up there, buddy.
All right, appreciate it.
In a few short months, man. Few short months. And follow us on Twitter because we got this golf match going on. And we still haven't figured out the combatants, but we will. It's getting to that season. It's starting to warm up now.
We're gonna need the gallery.
So we're gonna give away stuff where you can come out to Players Club and watch this thing. It's gonna be epic.
Let's go.
And if there's players involved, you'll be able to take pictures, sign autographs, whatever. Anyway, it's going to be great.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of the tournament because this tournament's spicing up.
Different. Yeah, it's a little different than what I've seen.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Tennessee.